The movie starts somewhere in Hollow Earth. Kong is seen fleeing wart dogs before reaching the edge of a precipice. The big ape then draws the creatures into his trap, causing one to fall to its death and tearing another in half to compel the others to flee. As Kong attempts to feast on his kill, he discovers that he has an infected tooth that prevents him from eating. He then hears a huge roaring noise and assumes it is coming from another ape, but it is actually a frog thing generating the noise. On the surface, Dr. Eileen Andrews has been working with Monarch to keep Godzilla and Kong separate. Godzilla maintains power over other beasts by killing them whenever they make trouble. In Rome, the monster Scylla is wreaking havoc until Godzilla charges his atomic breath and fires it down Scylla's throat. At an outpost facility in hollow soil, researchers begin to discover high-energy readings from Kong's region, resulting in a sinkhole in the soil where Kong murdered the wart dogs. Meanwhile, Eileen has adopted Gia, who is attending public school for the first time. Gia is having visions of the Titans, and she unwittingly draws images that resemble the energy readings detected by Monarch. Gia tells Eileen that she does not feel like she fits in this new environment. Later, the outpost is destroyed by an unknown Titan. Eileen travels to Miami to ask Bernie Hayes for his assistance in determining the relationship between Gia's visions. He offers to help on the condition that he accompany her into Hollow Earth. Another energy rush occurs, one that even Godzilla detects. He leaves Rome and makes his way to the source. At the same time, Kong comes from Hollow Earth and shows Eileen and Gia his rotten teeth. Eileen contacts her old buddy Trapper, a Monarch veterinarian. He utilizes a major portion of his technology to extract the tooth and replace it with metal. Later, Bernie informs Eileen that a distress signal has been detected from Hollow Earth. Eileen, Bernie, Trapper, Gia, and a pilot named Mikhail begin pursuing Kong on his trip back down. Godzilla travels to a nuclear power facility in France, where he begins to absorb radiation to charge himself up. Jets start swooping in to try to shoot him down, but Godzilla swats them away like flies. Hampton then notices Godzilla approaching another Titan named Tiamat in the North Pole. The researchers conclude that if Godzilla kills Tiamat, he will be supercharged. The crew of Hollow Earth discovers the Monarch outpost destroyed and the researchers dead. They discover a bloodied paw print on the stone walls above, which Trapper believes is a call to war. Meanwhile, Kong discovers the pit and enters a subterranean realm. He walks with his axe until he comes across another figure and is taken aback to realize that it is a smaller ape named Suku. While Kong attempts to approach her amicably, Suko bites him and summons 3 more apes to attack him. Kong saves an ape from falling over a cliff, but the ape attempts to attack him, prompting Kong to kick him to death. The crew resumes flying until an additional energy surge forces their ship to collapse. Trapper and Bernie feel danger, but Mikhail takes the initiative and is eaten by a forest thing. The others run until they come across the remnants of an ancient temple dedicated to Mothra. Gia opens an entrance, guiding them beneath a protective curtain into the subterranean world. Suko leads Kong to a watering hole to drink, but a massive serpent monster appears and attempts to drag Kong away. Kong fights back, using his axe to decapitate the serpent. Kong consumes the serpent's remains, even sharing some with Suko. Monarch tracks Godzilla's movements till he reaches Tiamat. The undersea titan awakens from her rest and confronts Godzilla. Godzilla transforms her into sushi and absorbs her radioactive energy before returning underwater to prepare. The group is discovered by warriors from the Iwi tribe, who immediately recognize Gia as one of them. They hold hands, allowing them to share images and flashbacks of the Iwi tribe. The crew is led further inside the Iwi's temple. Long ago, the great apes were humanity's protectors. But a vicious leader known as the Scar King led an army of the apes to attack the surface world in a battle against Godzilla and his people. To prevent the Scar King and his army from escape, the enormous dinosaur stepped in and locked them within Hollow Earth. It is also stated that a direct descendant of the Iwi, Gia, will resurrect Mothra. Kong follows Suko to the location of the other great apes, much to his astonishment. Scar King forces them into harsh labor. Kong notices one of Scar King's enforcers antagonizing another ape. Kong intervenes and has the enforcer try to get in his face, only for Kong to sucker punch him and knock him down. Scar King then appears to confront Kong, mocking him with the other apes for his metal tooth. Scar King attempts to attack Zuko, but the surviving ape from before defends her. Kong and Scar King fight in a duel, with Scar King using a whip the evil ape calls his secret weapon, an ice titan named Shimo, who is controlled by Scar King via a crystal that causes her anguish. Kong begins to flee, with some of Scar King's apes after him. The team spends more time with the Iwi, and Jia is finally reunited with her own people. Bernie tries to document his discoveries. Zuko brings the injured Kong to the Iwi, who then open the veil into their world. They see his arm and realize he is in serious shape. Kong expresses regret to Jia at losing his house. Trapper tells Eileen that the greatest thing for Kong is some of his technology from his project, Operation Powerhouse, which was designed to provide an augmentation for Kong in the case of another catastrophic Titan invasion, but was shut down. Trapper locates the BAST glove from the burned Monarch station and attaches it to Kong's arm. He then begins to make his way to the surface world in order to catch Godzilla's attention. Godzilla awakens after being fully energized by Tiamat's power, so he charges toward him despite Kong's attempts to persuade Godzilla to join him. Kong uses his new glove to punch Godzilla several times. Down underground in Hollow Earth, the Iwi and Jia perform their ceremony, ushering in Mothra's rebirth. She moves to the surface to intervene in the conflict. Godzilla is astonished to see his old comrade again, and it is enough for him to set aside his feud with Kong. With Scar King and his soldiers approaching, the humans devise a strategy to create a gravity surge by using Iwi technology to cause their crystals to produce a reaction that will temporarily prevent the wicked Titans from fleeing, charging at Shimo and Scar King for the ultimate monster smackdown. The surge begins, with the two apes and two lizards fighting in midair, as Scar King's enforcer attempts to intervene, and Zuko enters the fight. The Titans wind up on a beach in Rio de Janeiro, scaring away the other guests. Scar King then uses Shimo to unleash her ice abilities on the Earth. Godzilla charges up his atomic breath on Scar King, who dodges the blast, but has the crystal ripped from his whip by Godzilla. Zuko jumps through the portal with Kong's axe and enters the battle to smash the crystal, freeing Shimo from Scar King's grip. Without his ultimate weapon, Kong throws the evil ape at Godzilla, who whips him back with his tail like a volleyball at Kong, while Shimo turns on her former owner and freezes him. Kong then smashes Scar King into a million pieces. Godzilla uses his breath to reverse the ice blast. Eileen believes Jia is ready to leave her and join the Iwi tribe, but Jia expresses her willingness to accompany Eileen wherever they go. Kong returns to the Great Apes with Zuko and Shimo, the latter of whom is now receiving much better treatment owing to Kong, raising his axe to the sky with a great shout, to which the other apes respond respectfully.